Okinawa's elders once outnumbered American centenarians by up to 5 to 1, eating foods you will not find in any U.S. supermarket produce aisle. For over 300 years, isolated Japanese islanders built daily meals around a plant so resilient its leaves grow back within a day. Yet fresh, it is virtually unseen in America. Why? Uncover the link between hidden food traditions, record-breaking longevity, and a biological wonder banned not by law, but by economics. The truth rewrites how we think about diet, aging, and which foods we are allowed to access. In 1975, official census records revealed something no demographer expected. Okinawa, a subtropical island chain south of mainland Japan, reported 37 centenarians in a population of just over 1 million. That's 35.5 people over the age of 100 for every 1 million residents, more than 7 times the national Japanese average at the time, and several times higher than the United States. For decades, this region topped global longevity charts with the highest proportions of nonagenarians and centenarians anywhere on record. But these numbers were not the result of high-tech medicine or genetic outliers. Researchers from the National Institute on Aging and the Okinawa Centenarian Study found that the oldest Okinawans shared a daily ritual. Meals were built around whole, local foods. Leafy greens and herbs took center stage, not pills or powders. The backbone of their diet was plant-based, focused on what could be grown or foraged nearby. Genetics, according to twin studies, explained less than 1/3 of this longevity advantage. Instead, the pattern pointed to something more universal, a synergy between daily habits, food choices, and the environment. The question that followed was simple but profound. What exactly were these communities eating, and could it explain their remarkable lifespan? On the remote island of Hachijojima, daily life has long revolved around a resilient green known locally as Ashitaba. For more than 3 centuries, islanders have gathered its crisp leaves each morning, trusting in its ability to regrow by the next day. Household records from the Edo period describe families supplementing meager rice rations with handfuls of fresh ashitaba, sometimes boiled into simple soups or eaten raw beside pickled fish. During times of famine, this hardy perennial filled empty stomachs and kept communities nourished when little else would grow. Samurai and farmers alike relied on it not just for calories, but for its role as a symbol of endurance, an herb believed to protect against illness and restore energy. There are no reports of toxicity or harm across generations, only stories of children learning to recognize its jagged edges and elders crediting it for their stamina. In Hachijojima, Ashitaba was never a miracle, just an everyday companion woven into meals, medicine, and memory. Ashitaba stands apart from ordinary greens. When its stem is cut, a bright yellow sap seeps out, an unmistakable signature, almost as if the plant is marking the wound. By the next morning, a new leaf has already pushed through, glossy and unblemished. In the humid, salt-tinged air of the Izu Islands, this cycle repeats day after day. The Japanese name Ashitaba means tomorrow's leaf, a nod to its uncanny ability to replace what is lost within 24 hours. Farmers on Hachijojima have relied on this rhythm for generations, gathering handfuls each dawn without fear of depleting their crop. The plant's deep green leaves, thick and slightly bitter, offer more than just calories. They are rich in vitamin A, vitamin B2, and vitamin K, with calcium and potassium levels that surpass many familiar vegetables. Hardy roots anchor it against coastal winds, while its perennial nature means it survives where others wither. In the world of edible plants, few can match Ashitaba's persistence or its quiet daily renewal. In 2016, a research team at the University of Graz in Austria isolated a compound from Ashitaba that sparked worldwide interest. The molecule, 4-alpha-4-dimethylchalcone, shortened to DMC, was found in the plant's yellow sap and leaves. Scientists did not stop at chemical analysis. They tested DMC on a series of model organisms: yeast, fruit flies, and tiny nematode worms. The results were striking. In each case, DMC triggered a process inside cells that helps clear away damaged components, and the organisms lived longer by as much as 20% in some trials. The findings were published in Nature Communications in 2016, and they pointed to a possible link between a humble island green and the cellular mechanisms tied to aging. The Graz lab expressed cautious optimism. The effect was clear in the lab, but its meaning for humans remained an open question. Still, for the first time, a traditional food from remote Japanese islands had caught the attention of molecular biologists, not just folklorists. Inside every living cell, a quiet process works around the clock to keep things running smoothly. This process, called autophagy, acts like a cellular recycling system. Old or damaged parts are broken down and cleared away, making room for healthy growth and new activity. The word comes from Greek and literally means self-eating, but what really matters is how it helps cells stay resilient over time. Scientists have found that autophagy ramps up when food is scarce or during periods of fasting, allowing cells to draw energy from their own worn-out components. In animal studies, this cleanup process is linked to better health and sometimes longer life. Lab experiments show that certain plant compounds can trigger autophagy, mimicking the effects of caloric restriction. It is important to remember that these findings come from yeast, worms, and fruit flies, not people. While autophagy is a key part of the body maintenance toolkit, no single food or supplement has been proven to unlock its full benefits in humans. What is clear is that the ability to recycle at the cellular level is a fundamental part of staying healthy as we age. In laboratories from Tokyo to Seoul, Ashitaba's reputation has drawn a steady stream of experiments, but the evidence so far remains locked in petri dishes and animal cages. Extracts from the plant's leaves and stems have shown promise in reducing inflammation, improving glucose uptake, and even countering muscle loss in rodent studies. In one experiment, rats given Ashitaba compounds regained muscle mass after steroid-induced atrophy. Other studies point to possible anti-clotting and blood pressure effects, with chalcones acting much like aspirin in cell cultures. But these signals come with important caveats. No human pharmacokinetic studies exist. No one knows how well the body absorbs these compounds, or what happens after they are eaten as part of a meal. There are no published clinical trials testing Ashitaba for longevity or chronic disease prevention in people. What is clear is that the scientific process is ongoing, and the path from promising lab results to proven human benefits is long. For now, Ashitaba's story in the research world is one of potential, not proof. Fresh Ashitaba is absent from American grocery shelves, not because of any ban, but because of the steep cost of regulatory approval. For a plant with no history of widespread use in the United States, the FDA requires a formal safety review called Generally Recognized as Safe, often abbreviated GRAS, before it can be sold as a fresh food. Completing the necessary toxicology and dietary exposure studies can run from $1 million to $5 million. There is no chance to recoup that investment through patents, since Ashitaba is a centuries-old perennial, not a new invention. This leaves commercial growers with little financial incentive to pursue approval. Yet the law does not prohibit personal cultivation. Anyone can grow Ashitaba at home or on a small farm, just as it has been done on Japanese islands for generations. The real barrier is economic, not legal, a quiet obstacle that keeps this daily staple out of mainstream markets. Real change starts in the places we control: our kitchens, our gardens, our daily routines. The story of Ashitaba isn't a call to chase miracle foods, but a lesson in the quiet power of diversity and consistency. Home gardeners can experiment with unfamiliar greens like Ashitaba or other plants suited to their climate, adding resilience to their diets and landscapes. Permaculture networks suggest mixing perennial herbs and vegetables to mimic the variety found in traditional diets. No single plant, no matter how storied, guarantees health or long life. What matters is a pattern, eating a range of fresh local foods, moving often, and respecting the limits of what science can promise. Curiosity and moderation, not hype, are the tools for lasting well-being. Ashitaba's story is not about forbidden secrets. It is about the distance between traditional wisdom and modern access. As global food systems narrow, everyday diversity quietly disappears. The simplest plants can shape lifespans, yet they often remain out of reach. What else are we overlooking, right where we live? Share your thoughts below.